This is the WWE NXT December 31st, 2024 full show results video. The show started with a match between Kalani Jordan versus Lola Vice. The match ended in a way when Jordan goes for a cartwheel back elbow, but Vice counters with the rear naked choke. Jordan drives Vice back first into the canvas, but gets distracted by Cora Jade. Standing switch exchange and Jordan shoves Vice into Jade. In the end, Kalani Jordan connects with the bridging O'Connor roll to pick up the victory against Lola Vice. Vice attacks with a kendo stick after, laying into everyone, and Stephanie Vacker rushes out to make the save. They get Jade surrounded, but when Vice goes for the spinning back first, Cora moves and it drops Vacker. Lola tends to her as Cora takes off, acting all innocent over the whole thing. They do the spotlight gimmick from Progressive with Giulia talking about her upcoming title match against Roxanne Perez. She says it's time for Beautiful Madness to take over and she will win the title and follow in the footsteps of the great stars who came before her. Names like Rhea Ripley, Charlotte, Shayna Baszler, and Asuka, and she knew this was her calling. Japanese women's wrestling is all about trying to prove yourself, and she spent 7 years there doing just that. She won the Iron Survivor Challenge for this chance, and now she'll take what she traveled across the world to get in the new year. Will bring a new NXT Women's Champion. Then we saw that Joe Hendry wins the Moment of the Year award, and he sent in a video saying thank you to the fans for voting for him and said how special it all was because the fans made it that way. He also teased showing up again anywhere, anytime, on any show, and then they ran an ad for Raw on Netflix. Cedric Alexander is asked about J. Yvonne Evans and his status, and Alexander said he can't speak on it because he's never seen anything like that. He's not worried about him coming back to wrestle, he's worried about him eating solid food. Ethan Page took that away from him, and Page showed up to say he wishes the texts they were exchanging read "Stay away from Ethan Page." Then he said he plans to put Cedric right next to J. Yvonne, and they fought like hell through the back and managed to make their way all the way to the ringside area. Officials rushed them to try to prevent it, but commentary said they would probably just do the match right now. Then we saw a match between Ethan Page versus Cedric Alexander, and the result of this match was Ethan Page defeated Alexander by pinfall. Naturally, he attacks Cedric after the bell, throwing him to the outside and continuing the assault. Vic Joseph pleads for the referee to do something while Page breaks out the tools from under the ring. He opens a big red box and then slams it down on Cedric's hand. He sells like it was cut off, and medical personnel quickly hit the scene. They cut to a shocked and sickened audience member looking real sad. The next match happened between Shotzi and Gigi Dolan versus Katana Chance and Kaden Carter versus Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson, and the result of this match was the Meta Girls defeated Dolan and Shotzi and Chance and Carter by pinfall. As Meta Girls celebrated in the ring, Unholy Union came on the Tron and talked about looking for a tag team title match. They too are looking for one, and they will have no problem running through Meta Girls again to get to what they want. Lola Vice and Stephanie Vacker arguing backstage about what happened earlier. Jordan pulls up acting smug, and Vice says this is all her fault, but she says she told them so. Lola maintains she meant to hit Cora. Vacker says it didn't feel like it, and Jordan says they both deserved it, so they all end up fighting and bickering. Jade watched all this from behind them, and General Manager Ava pulled up to her and said she needs an opponent for Fallon Henley in the Women's North American Championship. Jade said she is in. Who is her opponent to earn that match? Ava said the 3 women who just fought the other direction in Fatal 4-Way. Winner gets the title shot, New Year's Evil. Ava talking to Lexis King about the Heritage Cup rules, and it's apparently cloudy, the rules about the cup changing hands the way it did. She decides to set up a match between the two for next week, except it will be sudden death. That means it will be one fall to the finish, so, just a match. Ava takes the cup back and hands it to Charlie Dempsey, and King is upset about it, but that's the decision and they'll do battle for it next week. Then we see that Nathan Fraser and Axiom wins the Tag Team of the Year award, and they were interviewed, saying they couldn't imagine what their teaming together would turn into, but they've done some amazing things. Through the ups and downs, they wouldn't want it any other way, and OTM pull up and say they're coming to take the titles from them in 2025. The next match happened between Sol Ruka versus Izzy Dame. The match ended in a way when they go for a high spot on the outside. Ruka with a moonsault, and Dame pulls Zarya into the way, leading to her being taken out. Back in the ring, Izzy hits her finish to get the 3 count, and Dame defeated Ruka by pinfall. Ruka apologizes to Zarya, and they show Spears happy about what he's just witnessed. Then we see that Roxanne Perez wins the Female Superstar of the Year, and she says it's only fitting that she, a 2-time women's champion, would win the award. She reclaimed what was rightfully hers, dominated everyone who challenged her, and even dropped a pipe bomb on CM Punk. She's taken on all challengers, making NXT hers in 2024. People think Giulia will be the one to change that? She's an international sensation, sure, but Perez is the one and the only one. The next match happened between Wesley and Tyson DuPont and Tyriek Igwe versus Hank Walker and Tank Ledger and Andre Chase, and the result of this match was Lee and DuPont and Igwe defeated Hank and Tank and Chase by pinfall when Andre Chase goes to do the Chase You gimmick, but then he stops, gets sad again, shakes his head, and then just walks off. There is no Chase You anymore, he just isn't the same without it, and Hank is left to take a stunner. Ashante Adonis on the phone trying to make things right with Carmen. He misses her and asks her to call him back. Nikita Lyons pulls up and asks him to go to a hot New Year's Eve party with her. He says if he can't spend it with Carmen, he's spending it alone, and she walks off on him. He's no player. Shawn Spears pulls up on Izzy Dame and she tells him to leave her alone. Tony D'Angelo and the family pull up and tell him to leave her alone too. She's glad for that, and Spears makes a comment about last week and Tony D says to take care of him. Andre Chase walking backstage and Kale Dixon asks him when the next semester is starting. Chase tells him Chase You is dead. Dixon is shocked and calls out to him as he walks off. Then we see the ring announcer about to announce the male superstar of the year, but before one could be announced by Mike Rome in the middle of the ring, Femi's music hit the loudspeakers and Femi gets to the ring and presses Rome in the corner. He takes the award from him and says the awards don't matter and all the award is a prop for a popularity contest. The fans think they can dictate the narrative in NXT because they can voice their opinions on social media and it doesn't matter what they do. They control nothing and he will control everything because he is the ruler, the one who directs the narrative, the one who steers the ship. He is the captain now. If you don't believe him, tune in next week and witness him become NXT champion, and that brings out Trick Williams. He's all business on the way to the ring. He wonders why Oba is out here telling lies. He appreciates the love the fans have shown him, but don't get it twisted, he knows what's coming next week. He knows he needs to dig deep, be ruthless, he needs that old Trick back, and he knows Oba has some nicknames, but he's got another one for him: Unbeatable Oba. Trick wonders where Oba's title is at, because if he was unbeatable it would be a title versus title match. Instead, it's Femi chasing him and his title, and he wants to know how much time off Femi is going to need when he loses at New Year's Evil. Mics are dropped and Eddy Thorpe shows up with a sneak attack from behind. He breaks the trophy across Oba's head and stands tall holding the title as the show's credits run and the show goes off the air. This is the last WWE NXT show of the 2024. Let me know in the comment box that whether you like the show or not. Wishing you all a very happy new year, enjoy the day, don't forget to subscribe the channel, and thanks for watching the video.